So hello to everyone. In the last of the class, we have discussed about different type of antibiotic medicines. The medicines which are basically used to kill the germs or to stop the growth of those kind of pathogens are basically called as antibiotic medicines. These antibiotic medicines were further classified into narrow spectrum and broad spectrum. Narrow spectrum are having the capability to kill or stop the growth of a definite type of gram, either gram positive or gram negative, means only single type of bacteria. The second one was broad spectrum. Broad spectrum medicines or antibiotic medicines are those medicines which are having the capability to kill any kind of bacteria that may be gram positive or gram negative. After that, we have also discussed about two different types. One is bacteriostatic, which will stop the growth of the bacteria or pathogen, or the second one was bactericidal, which will kill the specific kind of bacteria or the germs. So we have discussed about all that in the last of the class. We are having some examples of those kind of antibiotics, and these examples are very important. There is no need to learn the formula, but the examples are very important. Chloramphenicol is a very famous kind of bacteriostatic antibiotic medicine. So if any examiner is asking you about the bacteriostatic, we have discussed about that in earlier classes. So chloramphenicol is one of the bacteriostatic medicine. The other kind is Prontosil. Prontosil is a product of sulfanilamide. I have given you the clue in the last of the class. We were having a specific kind of classification of medicines, and that was on the basis of the component or the structure base. We are having a specific group that is called sulfanilamide or sulfamide. This sulfamide or sulfanilamide is found in some of the specific group of medicines, and that group of medicine is called sulfa medicine. So sulfa medicine is also a kind of antibiotic medicine. Prontosil is a prodrug of sulfanilamide because it is giving the sulfanilamide as a resultant, and these sulfanilamide or sulfamide are basically used in different kind of sulfa medicines. In human body, Prontosil get converted into sulfanilamide automatically. So we are basically using such kind of medicine as antibiotic. We were having two very common examples. Sulfapyridine, one of the antibiotic medicine, and the very famous and the first ever discovered antibiotic. I have given you the clue. It was discovered by the Alexander Fleming from a fungus called Penicillium notatum, and this Penicillium notatum is giving you penicillin medicine. So penicillin was first of all ever discovered antibiotic, and you know that Alexander Fleming has also got Nobel Prize for that. It is a bactericidal in nature. So bactericidal, penicillin, and chloramphenicol, it was bacteriostatic. So that has been discussed in the earlier classes. I was just revising that. Some other questions has been asked in last year examination. I am going to discuss about all those. We have discussed about the antiseptic medicines, the medicines which are used on wound or outer side of the skin, and in that we have discussed about different kind of things. Like we have discussed about the Dettol, we have discussed about Furacin, we have discussed about some other antiseptic also. Whenever we are having any kind of problem on our skin, then doctor generally prescribe a specific kind of soap that is commonly known as medicinal soap. That medicinal soap which doctor is prescribing to us is basically having this chemical, and this has been asked in examination. This chemical is known as bithionol. So medicinal soaps are having a specific chemical called bithionol. Sometimes you have heard that the Ganga, there are specific regions in nearby Ganga. There are specific pond over there which are having hot water. If you will take a bath from that hot water, you will get away from the skin disorders. The reason behind that is sulfur is found over there, and sulfur works as a killing of fungus, or it is a specific kind of antiseptic. So basically in medicinal soap we are having bithionol compound as inclusion. That bithionol will work as an antiseptic. So it is a very important question. The soaps, medicinal soaps, are having a chemical called bithionol. Okay. Some other antiseptics are tincture iodine. It has been asked in examination. Tincture iodine. Actually, tincture iodine is a kind of solution which is prepared by the inclusion of 2 to 3% solution of iodine in ethanol. Actually, ethanol will work as a germicide. It will kill the germs. As we know that in today's time we are using several kind of sanitizers which are also having ethanol, and 2 to 3% of iodine is mixed over there. So a solution of 2 to 3% of iodine in ethanol is called tincture iodine, and it is a very common type of antiseptic. Iodoform was earlier used as an antiseptic. It is not used so dominantly in today's time. Iodoform is having the formula CHI3. Yesterday we have also discussed about a very important question, the differentiation between the antiseptic and disinfectant. We have discussed that antiseptic will be mild in concentration, low in concentration, can be used only the living surface, basically for the living surface, and disinfectants are very high in concentration. They cannot be used on the living skin, they can be used on an object. So we have discussed about the phenol over there. Phenol can work as both the things. 1% of the solution will work as a disinfectant, while 0.2% of aqueous solution of phenol will work as an antiseptic. So antiseptic and disinfectant has been discussed earlier. Yesterday I have also given you a very important point, that was boric acid, H3BO3. Actually boric acid is a very mild acid, and the 0.1% of that is used in eye drops. We are discussing about the boric acid. It is used in eye drops basically. One more question has been asked in last year exam, and that was the components of Dettol. I have given you that Dettol is made up by the two things. One is chloroxylenol. Actually, whenever we are having this structure, and we are having OH over here and CH3 and CH3, this is called xylenol, and chloro is over there, so it will be chloroxylenol. So chloroxylenol and terpineol, these are the two chemicals included in Dettol. So Dettol is having two components, chloroxylenol and terpineol. That is very important. So I think you are getting the points according to the exam point of view. Even knowledge is very important, but we have to attempt examination also, so you have to memorize some of the concepts. Let's discuss about the next one. Now the next topic for today's class is anti-fertility drugs. As you know that population is growing very high, with a very high speed, and that is making several kind of other problems. So it is very important to stop that population growth. Every country is trying at its level, but population is not controlling with efficient ways. So there are different type of methods which the government is prescribing. There are specific vasectomy, means tube blockage. There are other methods, like we are having several other methods to stop the population, but the most prominent and the most effective is anti-fertility drugs. So we are going to discuss about the anti-fertility drugs. The name is indicating these are the drugs which are not allowing the fertility. What is the mean by the fertility? Actually, in higher animals like human beings, male and female are producing specific kind of gametes. Male is producing sperm and the female is producing ova, and the mixing of sperm and ova, this process is called fertilization, and this fertilization takes place in the female body at the place of fallopian tube. So if we are able to stop the sperm and the ova connection, means attachment, or the fertilization, then we can easily say that there will be no population growth further, or there will be no zygote formation. So the anti-fertility medicines or drugs are specifically those medicines which are basically used to stop the fertilization. So I hope you have got the meaning of that. Anti-fertility drugs are those medicines or those drugs which are used to stop the fertilization. So drugs which are used to control the population by family planning are called anti-fertility, and in market these are basically known as pills. So these are basically having two chemicals that has been asked in examination. One is estrogen and the second one is progesterone. Estrogen and progesterone, these are the two chemicals which are basically found in the living of female body. These estrogen and progesterone level maintain the further generation formation or the fertility. So if we are changing the concentration of estrogen and progesterone in the living body, then the process of fertilization is not so normal. So this estrogen and progesterone are basically used in the mixture of synthetic estrogen and progesterone derivatives are used in anti-fertility medicines. Okay. So basically, chemical substances which are used to check pregnancy women are called to stop. Even this is the main thing is to stop that. Are called anti-fertility drugs or birth control pills, or basically oral contraceptive. These control the female menstrual cycle and ovulation. The process of ovulation means releasing of egg from the ovary is stopped by this process, or because of the improperness in the hormones, the process is not so easy. Some of the commonly used pills containing a mixture norethindrone, which is having progesterone derivative, the novestrol, which is having estrogen derivative, ethinylestradiol. These are some medicines, or basically the commercial name can be different, but basically these chemicals are present over there. So estrogen and progesterone are the basic compound. The artificial form of that is called norethindrone for the progesterone and novestrol for the estrogen. Such drugs are expected to have side effect and hence should be used under proper medical advices. This is very important because these medicines are basically changing your hormonal regulation in the body. So without the prescription of the doctor, without the proper information, we should not use such kind of medicines, otherwise they can create adverse effect, or these can create some side effects. Now we are discussing about some examples of that novestrol, which is the artificial form of estrogen. The next one we have discussed about the norethindrone, that is also kind of synthetic progesterone derivative. Structures are not important, examples are very important. Examples will be okay. Working mechanism of drug. So now we have completed the different type of drugs on the basis of pharmacological. We have discussed about the analgesic, we have discussed about the types of that, we have discussed about the antibiotic, we have discussed about types of that, we have discussed about antiseptic medicines, disinfectant, we have discussed about some other medicines, and even antipyretic medicines, which are the medicines which are basically used to control the temperature of the livings. So antipyretic medicines, antacid medicines, analgesic, anti-fertility medicine, these all has been discussed. Now the main point is, the major question which can be asked in examination is how the drugs work. We are going to discuss about the working process of the drugs. So basically the proteins present inside the body work as a biocatalyst, and these are called enzymes. You know that in our body there are several metabolic activities, and these metabolic activities are somehow controlled by the enzyme. So enzymes are the basic thing which are working in our body, and these are basically known as biocatalyst. And all the enzymes except a ribozyme, all the enzymes are made up by the proteins. Proteins which are responsible to communication system in the body are called receptors. Actually there are specific kind of protein which are working as a communication system. They are getting the information from the outer side to the inner cell. These are called receptors. Enzymes and receptors play an important role in our body. Whenever a process is happening in our body, then these two are working together, and these are making some difference, and these are basically responsible for any kind of biological happening. If these substances show negative effect, then many systems get disturbed. If this enzyme and protein or that receptor is not working properly, then there are several several disturbances inside the body. So enzyme and receptor comes together, and when the enzymes and receptors comes together, then there are specific symptoms or the disease is arised. We use specific drugs for protection of these diseases, because these drugs stop negative effect of enzyme and receptors by interacting with them. Actually, when the enzyme will get the connection, when the enzyme will get the connectivity with the protein or receptor, then there will be the formation of symptoms or disease. And whenever we are using specific kind of drugs, then that drug is not allowing the enzyme to connect with the protein or receptor, so that there will be no further formation of symptoms. Drugs show two type of interaction to cure disease. How the drugs or medicines work inside the body, they are having two mechanisms. That is very important to understand, because in NCERT a huge kind of material is offered over there, but you have to understand the concept. Interaction, the drug enzyme interaction, the first one. The second one, the receptor drug interaction. So there are two mechanisms, two methods by which the disease or symptoms are controlled by the drug. The first one is drug enzyme interaction, and the second one is receptor drug interaction. The drug enzyme interaction is further of two types. The first one is it is the competition with receptor. The drug will get the competition with the receptor, and the second one, change in shape of enzyme. The drug will change the shape. The next one, The receptor drug interaction is of two types, antagonist and agonist. Agonist will be there. Agonist. We'll discuss that in further slides. So we are having the mechanism of drug, how the drug works inside the body, and there are two type of mechanism over there. The first mechanism is called drug enzyme interaction. The second one is called receptor drug interaction. The drug enzyme interaction is further classified into competition with the receptor and change in the shape of enzyme. Receptor drug interaction is of two types, antagonist and agonist. So we are going to discuss about the receptor drug interaction and other types, but before that I will give you some clue. Basically, the normal mechanism inside the body is enzymes are having specific sites which are called active sites. This one is an enzyme. This enzyme can pursue a specific process. This enzyme is having a specific location that is called active site. That substrate is there. That substrate is like a receptor or protein. When the substrate and enzymes connect to each other, then enzyme substrate complex is formed. The enzyme and substrate attached to each other by the ionic bonding, hydrogen bonding, covalent bond, van der Waals interaction, and so on. So in normal mechanism, enzyme and substrate connect to each other and form enzyme substrate complex. When this enzyme substrate complex form, then after a time interval, the substrate or the receptor turns into the product, and product is separated from the enzyme. So this is the normal mechanism. Enzyme and substrate connected, there will be a process, there will be a formation of enzyme substrate complex, and then it will turn into the further product.